Rachel, it is so great to talk to you because I consider a tradition for myself, a tradition for Toronto, and a tradition for around the world. Because when you know the big top, the true big top, is in town and it is being set up the tent, you know you are going to have one of the most explosive, creative experiences that you can have, that you can physically see. And I'm talking about Cirque du Soleil back in Toronto. So happy after this couple of years. Thank you for making time to come to Toronto.
It's an absolute pleasure to be here and to be opening the show. I think it's really important to both be reopening the show, but it's a real honor to be opening the show in Canada because Cirque du Soleil is a homegrown company in that
Yeah.
way. Um, and Curious is a really special show. So we're very excited to be opening and presenting here.
For folks who may not know what Cirque du Soleil is, because you said, I mean, it's homegrown and it is something that has gone on around the world. I mean, The Simpsons parodied it. So when The
Yes.
Simpsons parody it, you know it's something big. For someone who has never gone to Cirque du Soleil, can you talk a little bit about it and describe it, please?
I think Cirque du Soleil, particularly in a big top, offers the audience the opportunity to experience both the most amazing physical performance from the acrobats, but also it's this high level of creativity that all of these beautiful ideas and beautiful moments come together on one stage. And I think that's what the company does so well. They began as a very small street performance company in 1984, and obviously they've grown exponentially through the last 35 years. Was that, can I add up? Um, to the investment and the time that is taken with the creatives to make every single new show is why we have this beautiful kaleidoscope of different ideas and different possibilities, and why just because you've seen a Cirque du Soleil show, every single one is different, it's
Yes.
unique. Acts are created specifically for a show. So some of the acts we have in Curious, you cannot see anywhere else in any other capacity. Um, and it's this type of investment, and both in the detail of the performance and the detail of the show, that makes it so unique. It's an opportunity to see these things married on stage in a way that you can't in any other performance capacity.
The other thing I've learned about Cirque du Soleil is it's almost like the dreams that you may have had growing up, you get to physically see and experience because it's not just in front of you, it can be around you, it could be above you. And the other thing, if you could talk about too, is the fact that a lot of times the stories are about healing the world, bringing people together, and LOVE, love. That seems to always be the theme.
Yeah. And one of the key driving messages in Curious, one of the ideas behind the show is that anything is possible. It's about a scientist who's called the Chercheur. He's seeking for, he believes a better future or a parallel future that is similar but different to the one that we're occupying exists. And so the story of Curious weaves these ideas together. Um, a big part of our show is learning that it's only together and united that you become part of a bigger whole. The journey of everyone being together makes things possible that as a solo performer just aren't. So one of our unique acts, the Acronet, is very much a reflection of this.
I'm curious though. Um, did you guys realize when you wrote this and created this, the timing on it because of what we've dealt with for the last couple of years with the pandemic and what's going on right now with the world and some of the really sad things that we have seen through social media? It's kind of like that you're letting us know that yes, there are tough things and bad things that could be happening, but if we look in our parallel universe, we can find the good in life and we can express that.
And that message of unity, I think, I don't think it was, the show was written with that foresight, but I do think just right now, with where things are in the world, it's a very strong message. And that message of being united, taking care of the people around you to move forwards is very much the foundation of Curious. It's the foundation of the story. And it was very much Michel Laprise who actually wrote and was the original stage director for Curious. That was very much his message that he wanted to send out with the show.
Now, I don't want to give too much away, so I'm going to ask maybe for one, just one, because there was so much that goes on with special effects and um, dance, stunts, so many things. Can you give us just one section that so people can sort of salivate on? Because, like I said, they're just so amazing of one section that people can look forward to seeing. Because, like I said, some of these things are so hard to describe. So, for somebody who is immersed into this, if you can give us one, please.
Okay, so I'm going to use Acronet as an example. It's an act that was created specifically for Cirque du Soleil, for Curious. And if you imagine the world's biggest trampoline, we have four masts that hold up the big top, and it is as big as the masts. So it fully covers the whole stage. When they were in creation working on this, because it's not a regular trampoline, they were working as a group to figure out how to get height on it, because they could get a little bit of height, but not much. And what they figured out that as a group, when they work in unison and they can time their push, we call it a kip. All of a sudden, these heights started growing and growing and growing. And they were almost at the point that they weren't sure if the act was going to be able to continue.
Wow.
In pre-creation, and then all of a sudden they found this idea, and it really has grown into one of the most spectacular acts and images. It's a signature act of the show. It's one of the acts that an artist spends more airtime than in any other Cirque du Soleil show. And because of the size and scale of the big top has a real intimacy as a performer. Even if you're sat in the very back row, you have a very physical connection with the performers. The sensation of watching this act in the big top, when you feel the first bounce, everybody's heart inside is with that artist in the sky until for each of these moments. Like, it really is quite a spectacular, breathtaking is the best word for it, really.
Oh my goodness.
It's a very beautiful moment in the show, and it's fun, it's lively, it has the sort of joyful sensation of like kids playing in a skate park as well. It's got that same sort of energy to it, but it just becomes this beautiful beast on stage.
The other beautiful beast, the music. Very important. I'm assuming a new score has been written for this. And I love when you have that signature singer performer in it, because always whoever it is spectacular.
Yeah, we have a score. It's actually written by two sets of composers. The majority of the score was written by a composer called Raphael Beau, he mainly composes for French film, and his direction very much set the style for Curious. It's very much that sort of electro swing. It feels old but modern at the same time, which is also a big theme for the show, is steampunk. So there's lots of familiar objects that you recognize, but they're slightly different. So Raphael built this beautiful score. It's very cinematic in how it sounds. There were other sections that were written by Bob and Bill, who are longtime Cirque composers as well. So there's their sort of signature drive through it in places too. But with a big top show, the music is always created to go with the act, because unlike a musical theatre performance, when the action on stage very much follows the score, in circus, it's there's sections that it has to be almost the complete opposite. The band leader is on tenterhooks all the way through, following the action on stage to keep this whole thing driving and moving forwards together.
Amazing. And for folks who have never gone, people should realize too, there's no bad seats. It doesn't matter where you sit. It's always a great seat. And the other thing too is handicap areas are all in place. So
Yeah.
if you are in a wheelchair, you are taken care of. And the other thing which I love too is merch, merch, merch. I think you guys have the biggest merch that I've ever seen. And I've gone to concerts and wrestling shows and whatever. I think you guys have the biggest merch, which is amazing merch too.
And I think all of this stuff is always designed very specifically for the show. So we try not to have crossovers from other shows available, but we try to find ideas and concepts that relate specifically to Curious, so you can take a little bit of that memory home with you.
Only place I know I can have popcorn and wine. I love this. Absolutely love it. And I was just reading too. Originally, you guys were going to be here for a certain amount of time. I understand it's been extended, I do believe.
Yes, I think Tram may need to just confirm the exact dates. At the moment, I think we're extended into July.
Yeah, something like that. So no
Very
excuses.
exciting.
Oh yeah, you drive by Lakeshore, you're gonna see the tent. It says that the world is coming back, and it's a great signal for us. Thank you so much for this interview. I cannot wait to see the show. I have enjoyed every single one of them. In fact, I remember even seeing the one at Disney, which was amazing too. So cannot wait for this. Thank you so much, and for coming back to Toronto.
We're very excited. We're working hard right now. It will be open and beautiful very soon.